And hello, welcome to this is Confident Woman World Tour Chat, and I am your host, Doreen Lettsome Reid, and it is such amazing opportunity to talk to women all around the world as we are preparing for Leaders Rising, the Confident Woman World Tour. And so we want to provide you the best world tour possible. Last week we had a woman from England, and today we have this beautiful queen next to me, and she is from Ghana. And so we're going to learn all about these different parts of the world. We're going to talk to you, and we do want you to go ahead and share this video right now. You don't want to miss these opportunities to unlock what's inside you, right? We have keys of knowledge right here to give us understanding of different parts of the world as we prepare for Leaders Rising, the Confident Woman World Tour. So welcome to Confident Woman World Tour Chat. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me, Miss Doreen. It's been an amazing journey since I met you. And I've been following you on social media and see all these amazing things that you've been doing, all these great women that you've been bringing on your show. Actually, a couple of days ago, I was listening to one of your speakers, and I was just so blessed with all the information that everybody is sharing on your platform. So thank you so much for having me and even counting me as one of the women international speakers. So this is you've been amazing, and thank you. So
Yes.
I'm Serwaj.
Yes.
And I am originally from Ghana, West Africa, but I live here in Columbia, South Carolina. I've been in the Carolinas for about 20 years, and my business is Afric Style Initiatives. Afric Style Initiatives promote the African culture through fashion and food. And basically, what we do is bring people from all over the Carolinas to network, build businesses, introduce the African culture to them, and things that trying to bridge the gap between the African Americans and also the Africans here in the community as well.
Okay, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. So you're here to bridge the gap. And for me, like when I first met you a year ago, you was on my show, and this is something that God has really put in my heart. I've literally been building out for a year and a half, Leaders Rising, the Confident Woman World Tour. And so when God spoke to me and said, you need to have a chat with all of these different women so that we can get the Kingdompreneur perspective from the global market. And so you're from Ghana, and we've never been there. I haven't. So kind of paint a picture of how Ghana is right now in 2021, and also paint a picture of how it was when you was a little girl, and bring us up to speed to how it is now. So kind of like paint a picture for us.
So Ghana is a developing country. We were colonized by the British, so most of our things or living is kind of like the British way of lifestyle. Things we've gotten westernized, meaning we've taken up the American culture with the European culture. So instead of our normal traditional way of living, we've incorporated the British or American way of living as well. We dress just like any other country. You wouldn't see typical traditional clothing in Ghana these days. People still go to work with both ties, suits. We have formal weddings where we do the all white. So Ghana has developed a lot over the years. Now, in terms of growing up, both parents were ministers, and so I was raised in a church. Growing up, I've always been in front of a congregation, talking to people. So I guess I was just raised to be in front of
confident. People. You was raised to be confident.
So I had no choice. It was something that was introduced to me very early. In terms of business, that wasn't in my plan. I never dreamt of having a business. My mom worked in the bank while she was a very dynamic woman of God. She was part of the Women's Aglo, and I think that was what I guess nurtured me into this woman that I am today. She was my role model in everything that she did. And I always aspired to be part as she was. Like I said, very dynamic woman of God. And growing up, I always said I want to be where my mom is one day. I always want to be where my mom was one day. And actually, I see that in me right now. When I stand in front of people, I just think to myself, that's my mom. And so I always say it's the spirit of her living in me right now. That spirit of go-getter, you need to do this, God is with you, you are not afraid, you are not alone, you can do this. Girl, go get it. So yes, I was raised in that environment where I know the topic is confident woman. I was raised where my dad saying was know your God personally. It's okay to be a Christian. People go to church because they were raised in church. People go to church because it's normal. Everybody goes to church on Sunday, so of course I have to go to church. But there have to be a personal relationship. There's difference between having a personal relationship and just going to church. And so that was what my parents instilled in me, knowing your God personally, because when all else fails, what else? What are you left with? Nobody but God. Because sometimes you can put your trust in people. They may be willing to help, but of course they're human. It's not their intention to hurt you or their intention to disappoint you, but they will disappoint you. So at the end of the day, you have no choice but to put your trust in God.
So what I'm hearing for you, even in Ghana, so you're saying that Ghana is a Christian continent, and that you were rooted and grounded in faith at an early age, which allowed you to also be rooted and grounded in confidence. And then in addition to that, you had a woman that was your mother that role modeled for you how to operate as a woman of confidence and a woman of faith. So for you as a little girl, coming up, you said that you didn't have any idea you was going to be in business. So here again, I'm going to ask about Ghana, because I know that you're using the ladies in Ghana to create your African attire here in the States. What is that like for women in Ghana? You know, you're a woman, you're in business, and you're a Christian. So those are three different categories. What is that like right now on, you know, May the 27th, 2021 for women in Ghana?
So things have changed right now. People, everybody wants to be financially stable or have financial freedom. So we've had women understanding what it means to be an entrepreneur. Also, women are finding themselves. When I say finding themselves, back in the day, they thought women's place was in the kitchen, and that's all we knew. That's all our grandparents knew. Thanks to education and, of course, being advanced in our living, everybody wants to be financially stable on their own. They want to have something that they can call their own. So entrepreneurship has become very common in Ghana. We have women groups that promote entrepreneurship among women. Women are providing education for one another. One of the things that I went through growing up was I had no idea what I wanted to do when I grow up. And it took me the longest to come to the realization that whatever I was doing or living was actually my calling. And so part of my business is to fish out women who have a knowledge or a talent but need financial startup or financial support to be able to establish whatever they're doing. And so I've been working with this group of women for the longest, as long as I've been in business. And what I do is support them financially, and they do provide items or create items that are sold through my business, and the money is recycled through the system to support other women as well.
So that's a brilliant idea. You've given them structure, you're giving them confidence, you're increasing their faith, and you're making sure that women are being stabilized in Ghana. and you're helping to shift the climate there. Because as you said, at one time, the climate was very limited for women. Women would probably have never thought about being in business.
Mm-hmm.
But I am cautious when we hear the word westernized, when we hear that Ghana has, we won't see the authentic African attire in Ghana. Do you feel that, as Ghana being your hometown, that you have lost some of the tradition? And how does that make you feel? Do you feel that we should hold on to some of the traditions of our homelands, especially coming from Ghana?
Yes, I think we have lost a lot of our tradition. Being raised in a city, it's a lot of things that I wasn't exposed to growing up. And especially with being a Christian, some of the traditional things that I found to have appreciation for actually when I came here to the US. Because I saw how some African Americans are so hungry to find out where they came from and who their ancestors were and what kind of practices they practice. That gave me some kind of appreciation for my African culture. Of course, when you have something, you don't appreciate it, so you lose it. So I guess I was at that point where I saw, I think I had something here that I didn't really appreciate, and I needed to go back for it. And so that was part of my business as well, to promote the African culture whilst I'm here in the US. And so, yes, going back to your question, Ghana has become westernized where we're losing our culture. And part is our morals. As time goes on and we're picking up all these other Western culture, other Western behavior, we're losing our morals through that as well. And so I'm hoping, I'm not sure how this can be solved, but I'm hoping those who are still holding on to these values will hold on and will be able to instill in their children as they come up as well.
Yes, ma'am, because I lived in Charleston, South Carolina for quite some time, and the Geechee culture there is protected. And the weaving of the baskets that we see all the way, when I was a little girl on Highway 17, which is now downtown in the market. They can't even do the baskets on Highway 17 in Mount Pleasant of South Carolina, Charleston, South Carolina. They've migrated down only to that restricted area of downtown marketplace because the culture has changed. Innovation has changed. Buildings are being built. Roads are being built, and they literally had to move. And so it was sad. It saddens me that when I used to go home and visit, I would always brag on the Geechee culture because that's where the baskets stem from. And the ancient generation art form was passed down. Even before I left home at 16 years old, Miss Hallback was teaching me how to do the basket weaving, and her granddaughter already knew. And so I want to just kind of relate what I'm familiar with and how it made me feel to see that culture shifting and not as prevalent as I'm used to when I was a little girl. And you're speaking about Ghana, that you can see that the morals have shifted. Things have become more westernized, and it seems to me that Ghana has kind of like lost itself trying to take on a different culture. And sometimes we have to even be careful as Christians living a balanced life. My pastor always says we don't want to go too far to the left. We don't want to go too far to the right. We want to stay in the middle of the road. And sometimes when we want to advance through education and we get exposed to all these things, it's very easy to lose yourself. And so I commend you that you've actually brought your culture over here to the US, and you're still bridging the gap for those women in Ghana at the same time. You're empowering them, which is amazing, but they're making the Afrocentric styles that you now have a business with. So they are remembering their culture. And I'm sure for them, it's not just making clothes. It's more of, I'm giving you a part of me. I'm giving you a part of my heritage. Is that a true statement?
That's a true statement, yes.
And I just really I'm so glad that you're educating not just us in the States, but you're educating the Ghana women to say, look, don't forget where you've come from. Don't get so westernized that you lose your identity. And for Christian women, and as Christians as a whole in the body of Christ, we know that Satan, who is our arch enemy, always goes to the identity and wants to destroy our identity and give us his identity. And it can look like it's just, it could seem like it's harmless. It's nothing wrong with getting educated. God wants us educated. He's the one that created education. He's the one that created empowerment. He's the one that created the confident woman. However, he does want us to stay in the middle of the road and keep to our identity, no matter where we are in the world, and represent our true culture. And I think that that is why he put this in my heart, because there are women all around the world. According to Romans 12, it says that you have been chosen and graced for this time. There is a remnant of women that are looking and saying, you know what, I need support. I want to go back to my culture. I want people to know about my culture, and I want to bridge the gap between the States and my culture. And I thank you for coming on the show. Now, I do want you to kind of tell us more about Ghana before we have to leave tonight. Is it a large place now? And obviously, we know you just said it's been westernized, which we know is there has been an increase of buildings. But what does it look like? Is it a small area? Is it by water? Kind of like paint more of a picture for us.
Yes, so Ghana is by the coast, and of course, it's in the western part of the African continent. We have gold. We just discovered oil in the Twin City. And so we have a lot of resources. The only problem is being mismanaged. But if let alone, if we are able to work with these resources, Ghana would be one of the African countries that you would know. And so we have African Americans from here moving back to Ghana specifically because actually it's one of the peaceful African countries now. There's been places that are being given to African Americans or actually foreigners to come for free and just establish so they can help build the economy, they can help establish jobs. So Ghana is growing. It has more opportunities as foreigners to go back home to just live, because most people are trying to find their heritage now, and when they find that they have some connection with Ghana, they are welcome home. Back in 2019, there was the return of to Africa, where African Americans went home to find, of course, see where the slave trade happened. They were welcome to Ghana. People were able to stay back, establish businesses, build homes. And so it's a very nice place to visit. I've had a couple of friends that are planning to move back, Americans actually, moving to Ghana to settle. So I would recommend it to anybody. In a couple of years, I plan on moving back home as well, because home is always home, regardless of even how bad it is. Ghana is where my heart is, and I would like to go back and just stay.
Well, that's a beautiful story, and we thank you for sharing your story. And we are so excited to have this opportunity to provide, Divine Connection Network Association powers the Leaders Rise in the Confident Woman World Tour. And, I'm so excited that we're getting all of these interviews and these chats in leading up to the main event, which will be on July the 22nd and 23rd. And ladies, I do want to remind you that we will, again, let me put it here so that you can know, write it down, mark your calendar, do whatever you have to do. Our next speaker call for Leaders Rise in the Confident Woman World Tour will be Tuesday, June the 1st from 6:30 to 7:30. And of course, you will be able to register through your Eventbrite link, which is already posted for you and it's already dropped for you. And we are also doing our Confident Woman Rise anthology. Confident Women Rise is an anthology. So we need your story in this book. It's time for women all around the world to gather to tell their story. So if you're from Ghana, if you're from Australia, if you're from New Zealand, if you're from Ireland, we want your story. And of course, stateside women, you are welcome as a co-author in the anthology, Confident Women Rise. I am the visionary of these things, and it's just an honor to serve in this way and to bring the body of Christ together and hear the different perspectives from other countries. So thank you for being here tonight, and I really appreciate you. And of course, the viewers, I thank you for watching. You're watching in the replay. Please make sure you share. And of course, in the comment, y'all know what to do. Hashtag the confident woman. Y'all have a good night, and thank you.
Thank you for having me.